Now, 2 years ago today, here on Sky News, we aired my documentary Going Nuclear, in which I spoke to experts here and around the world about why nuclear energy was the logical solution to Australia's and the world's net zero dilemma. You know the story, it's a dense form of energy, it doesn't require massive amounts of land for new transmission lines and wind and solar farms, and it doesn't produce greenhouse gases. Here's a reminder of what the doco contained. In this clip, it starts off with a look at small modular reactors, or SMRs. As we shut down coal-fired power stations like this one in Port Augusta, SMRs could quickly replace them on site. My understanding is you could actually deliver to that site an SMR, connect it into the transmission grid and virtually flick the switch.
Yes, it is capable of fitting in with existing grid infrastructure and therefore replacing existing fossil fuel coal-fired power stations. And that's a real advantage because the grid costs can be expensive. So if you have a solution that can plug and play, you don't need to upgrade all of your grid to accommodate it.
The younger generation is being brought up in a world where climate change is front and centre. And when you look at the facts and the science and you look at the data and you compare all of the energy generation sources that we have, nuclear has such a good story to tell from a climate change perspective, but also enabling us to continue our current way of life and indeed improve it.
Yeah, it's all about the future generations, and they might wonder why the boomers are so hung up on the so-called risks of nuclear energy. Well, let's see if the debate has advanced over the past 2 years by catching up with one of the experts from that doco, Paterson, who used to run Australia's research and medical nuclear reactor at Lucas Heights. Good to talk to you again.
It's good to be
2 years on. Tell me, how do you think the debate has changed over the past 2 years?
I think the two big things that have changed is we're starting to see a big shift globally. The Finnish reactor, which was apparently too expensive and took too long, is now on and has reduced their price of electricity to a third of what it was. So we know that they can look expensive, but your electricity gets cheaper, more reliable and safer, frankly.
And other changes?
I think the big other changes that happened, many countries, like Canada has just completed a big refurb of its nuclear power plants. We've seen many new-to-nuclear countries start up their reactors, the UAE, for example. So we're seeing a new big nuclear world, and then the micro-reactors and the small reactors are starting to come online in various places.